everyone. My name is Meagan Marie, and I'm the Senior Community Manager at Crystal Dynamics. And I am joined today by Jade Jolie and Raymond Croft, who I almost combined into Jade Jolie, or Jade Raymond.
Jade Raymond.
That is not correct. Yes, but we have two superhero fans with us today, and we are going to talk about Tombs. We're going to talk about nostalgic Tomb Raider, and the reason that we're going to do that is because this year is the 20th anniversary of Tomb Raider. That's huge, 20 years of the franchise. So, Jade, how long have you been streaming? You're a big streamer in the community.
Well, I've been streaming for 2 years now. So I do a variety of games, like mainly FPS, and obviously I'm a huge Tomb Raider fan.
Yeah.
So, like, people know me as like the Lara of Twitch because I'm such a huge fan, and I pretty
And
much
you dress
talk
up in
about
costumes sometimes while you stream,
yeah,
so you've done Lara
I've
costumes.
done some playthroughs of some like Tomb Raider games as Lara. So
Cool, awesome. And Ray, longtime Tomb Raider fan.
Yes, I am an extremely long-time Tomb Raider fan, probably since I popped out the womb.
Yes, there we go. And you have probably the most extensive Tomb Raider shirt collection I've ever seen.
Yes, I have about 30 Tomb Raider shirts.
It's incredible. Awesome.
Yes.
So we wanted to get insights from other super fans, and we also have some insights from our fan sites. But essentially, we're going to count down some of the top tombs and take a nostalgic look at the franchise, one of the top tombs from each game. And we should go ahead and kick that off because we have a lot. It's a lot to cover. There's some fantastic tombs throughout the last 20 years. So let's go ahead and roll to the first clip. So these clips were actually provided to us by one of our official fan sites. Captain Elbin, Clara of Captain Elbin, took these clips for us so that we could enjoy them. I think she captured the perfect moments in each of these tombs. So this one is the Lost Valley.
Yes, the Lost Valley, one of my probably my favorite, maybe. Probably.
yeah, I would say.
I feel like there's not really that much that can compete with that in the first game. I mean, it has
Definitely.
a dinosaur, a T-Rex, right?
Yes, when
Look
you
at
just
that.
come out and you see it, and it just, I love the animatronic of it just coming out, looking at you and roaring. Like, that was the next
And
level
if it
for
gets
its
you,
time.
it's so brutal. It gets so brutal if it
Yeah.
actually captures you. But I love like when you're in the Lost Valley and then the ground starts shaking and you're like, what is happening?
What is coming out right now?
Yeah, so
definitely.
we actually have a quote from one of our fan sites, and Jessica Dins of Tomb Raider Level Editor says, "I love the Lost Valley. When I saw the T-Rex for the first time, I thought, gosh, you don't see like anything like that in other games, and it's a sensation that you just can't forget." So
Yeah, definitely. It's iconic, isn't it?
And there was also a great puzzle, though, so it wasn't just about the T-Rex, even though I feel like the T-Rex and the Raptors were really the highlight. There was a fantastic puzzle. There was a ton of traversal. You could dive really high from that one spot into the water below where you'd eventually fight Larson.
Yes.
I love it. And I feel like some fans don't necessarily, if they miss the first Tomb Raider, they don't realize that Lara actually didn't have a braid for the first game. You can
She
see
did
it there.
not.
She's got her little bun.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
But
love the part where you have to jump across that bridge, too. Because
Yeah.
you have to make it, like, perfectly.
Perfect. Remember what you used to have to line yourself up
You have to
perfectly.
line yourself up.
walk to the edge,
Oh, God,
jump
yeah.
They just went for it.
Good job. Good job, Clara. Nice landing. Yeah, but
And
this
there's
whole
the cog.
area. There we go. The cogs, the puzzle there.
The cogs. I literally loved the cogs in like, they were like throughout so many games. So
I think they're a nice
Cog
nostalgic
puzzles.
element. They
Yeah,
remind you of like these ancient civilizations used to occupy these spaces, and they left behind these remnants of these old machines, and I think it's so much fun to rebuild them. One more. There we go. So if throughout this broadcast, if you have a tomb you want to share with us, we're using the hashtag Tomb Raider 20 for all of our festivities throughout the year. And so we'd love to hear what your favorite tomb was. So I think we're going to transition next to Tomb Raider 2. We're literally going to go through 20 years here.
Oh, my God.
Try to fit that in
God,
half
this
hour.
game for me is just
Yeah. Tomb Raider 2
Oh.
is my absolute favorite.
for sure.
It's my
Yeah,
favorite
It's my
classic.
favorite
for sure.
classic.
It's
It is.
mine as well.
This is the one that most of our fans felt was their favorite, but my personal favorite was the Wreck of the Maria Doria. I love that
Oh,
one.
yeah.
Being underwater was so scary. But yeah, so we have Tibet, the Barking Monastery, and it's
I
just so
love this.
visually stunning.
Yeah. I want to say how incredible it was for the actual people in the level.
Yeah.
If you do not shoot at them,
Yep.
they will not harm
They
you.
would
And I
actually
feel
join
like
you.
That's such a big moment in gaming for them to just be like,
Yeah.
I want to be on your side. You
You
know,
have
I'm
a
here to
choice.
help.
I think that was great. So we have a quote from Tina of Tomb of Ash, and she says, "One of my favorite Tomb Raider levels is definitely the Barking Monastery from Tomb Raider 2. I love the atmosphere, which gives you a feeling of being very spiritual and a grand place, but at the same time, it's so dangerous, and you have to watch your every step. Basically, it's the contrast between serenity and tension that makes it so great," which I feel like that's a perfect quote. They do look a little intimidating at first,
Yeah,
right?
they do.
But like
Definitely.
if you hold off, if you're like, wait, they're not attacking me, then that helps.
And they'll help you out, kill the bad guys too.
Yeah, I think like visually it was just like amazing. The colors and
Yeah, absolutely.
the walls, the doors, everything. The detail was just amazing.
And earlier on the traversal up, how you got to use the snowmobile and,
Yeah.
and
Oh,
do all those
I
jumps
loved
and so
that
on.
thing.
I hope they show the trampolines you would have to use to jump
Yeah.
up higher.
I love this. Bunny hop, bunny hop. I think we're going to get to see how great of a player she is.
Oh, I forgot that jacket. I love that thing.
I know. The bomber jacket has
Yeah.
become so iconic at this point.
Mhm.
So you'd be collecting all the prayer wheels. There we go, lining up all the prayer wheels. Ooh, there we go. This is so cool, this moment. I've actually watched a couple of streamers who they play through and they don't kill any of the monks, and then they kill one at the very end, and then all of them
I saw that
descend
one
on
too,
you
and
in
you could-
one room.
yeah.
It was a streamer, badass game.
Yeah, that's the one I saw
he's
too.
He's so great. I love watching his stuff. But yeah, they'll just come from everywhere on the level, and all of a sudden you'll have
Oh,
like
that's
30
hilarious.
of them come
Yeah.
in from the rest of the level.
Because he was trying to get all the kills for it.
Yes,
So.
yes. I don't advocate killing the monks because they're good, but he was going for all the kills, so I understand that. All right, we're on to Tomb Raider 3. So the Temple Ruins. This was one of my favorites because of how atmospheric it is. I just love the idea of the jungle reclaiming these ruins, and you see it everywhere. It's starting to crumble,
Yeah.
and
Oh,
and
the
piranha.
piranhas.
I love the water as well in this game. I just think it looks so. I don't know. It just developed really, didn't it?
Yeah. That was one of the things that first attracted me to this game was the
Yeah.
swimming in the water was
Oh, I
so
loved
believable
that.
and realistic. I loved it. And this was so treacherous. There were the snakes, the baboons that would run away with your medipacks.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember that now.
The
Quicksand,
quicksand.
currents,
Yeah.
piranha, the statues, which we'll see later.
Oh yeah, I
Oh,
love
yeah.
those things.
But
So that had to be inspired for the movie, right? The Tomb Raider movie.
Yeah.
the I remember when I was younger, my brothers convinced me that there were both barracuda and piranhas in our lakes in Minnesota because of this game, and so I
Oh,
was
wow.
terrified to go into the water as a little kid because I thought that this was accurate to real life. But yeah, this is another just area that's really treacherous, traversal, and some of the other areas in India
Yeah.
had the really strong currents and so on in the South Pacific too, and that was interesting to contend with.
Yeah. This one was probably the hardest for me as a child because of the quicksand. I didn't know where to jump, what to jump to,
Yeah.
what
Oh,
was
yeah.
quicksand, what wasn't quicksand.
Absolutely. We have another couple of quotes from webmasters. Jessica Dins, again, of the level editor, Tomb Raider level editor, said, "The Temple Ruins are an amazing level and have great difficulty. I love to climb the platforms and kill the 6-armed statues. That's my favorite part." All right, and Annie, webmistress of Rise of the Tomb Raider web, says, "I feel especially nostalgic about the Lost Valley and the Temple Ruins. The first Tomb Raider game I played was Tomb Raider 3, and I remember the levels and tombs in the Indian jungle. Essentially, this was the first game that she bought on her brand new PC because her old PC wasn't able to play it, and so when she put it in for the first time and saw how beautiful it was on this high-end PC at the time, it was just a magical moment for her." Those things are terrifying.
Yeah.
Yes.
They are
Yeah, I think I had
terrifying.
nightmares about those as a kid.
All right, we're on to Tomb Raider: The Last Revelation.
Oh.
This is probably a franchise highlight. Almost everybody that
Yeah.
I know, they talk about this being one of their favorite tombs in the entirety of the franchise. So it's in Karnak, Egypt, the tomb of Semerkit, and it's basically the game within the game. These
Yeah.
are so evil. Do you remember these?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Putting your hand in,
Yeah.
catching her on fire.
You have to either pull a lever or you can get like a reward out of them, but you had to wait and the timing is perfect and you'd reach in there and grab
Yeah.
something.
It definitely took some practice, to be honest, to get
Yeah.
used to it.
And this is where they had the rope swings for the first time, so you'd have to do those dangling over the pits.
Well, that was the
and-
first time they had rope swings.
Tomb Raider 4, yeah.
Wow.
As far as I remember.
Yeah, actually.
And they like to put you over spike pits and dangerous areas and so on. But really, the Semerkit itself was the Senate. The game itself was the thing that so many fans fell in love with because it changed depending on how if you beat it or not. It changed how you would exit out of the level. So now we see her here playing. I'm going to read a couple of quotes. So we said Minerva of the Lara's generation says, "I'm always happy when Tomb Raider picks up real archaeological evidence, and the Tomb of Semerkit and one you play a game called Senate, an ancient Egyptian board game that's a little similar to backgammon. It was wonderful getting to know a game which was played 5,000 years ago." And Emma Q of fansite Oak Ishavar says, "I'm a student of Egypt. I adore the Tomb of Semerkit from Tomb Raider 4 because he was a real king from the first dynasty. However, his real tomb is located in El Gaab, the section of Abydos." So we have a lot of people who weighed in with the fact that they love that this was actually a real game that was played back then.
Yeah.
Ray, you were saying that you didn't necessarily understand the rules of what you were doing
No,
at the
like
time.
I would, as a 9-year-old child, I'm just wiping this board, flipping it, and
Yeah,
just,
and
It's
eventually
trial and
something
error.
happens.
It's definitely
yeah,
trial
like
and error.
something happens.
You either win or you lose.
Yeah,
and
you
then
win or you
progress.
lose. And what I like about it is that it's kind of the first time in a Tomb Raider game where it's kind of giving you like a different alternative route.
Yeah, yep, definitely. That was really cool. Look at how atmospheric it is too. It's so
I know.
beautiful.
Yeah, I think the fact that it was set in Egypt is what makes it so special as well, because
Yeah.
obviously we associate it with like ancient Egypt, and it's just so
Yeah.
interesting.
That is a very iconic Tomb Raider
Oh, yeah.
location.
Here's the real queen.
Are you a big fan of young Lara? All right, so Tomb Raider Chronicles, we picked the Black Isle in Ireland, the Labyrinth in particular. So the thing about this is that Lara is unarmed, right? So she's 16 years old or so, and she doesn't have her dual pistols, and so she basically has to use her wits to get her out of trouble.
Yeah.
And that's a little intimidating, traversing through these areas without
Yes,
being
this
armed.
was probably the scariest level for me, just crawling through that space, coming out and seeing that body hanging from a tree, and then it starts talking to you.
Oh yeah, that
It's
was
like,
creepy.
oh, okay, I'm 10 years old and I'm turning this off right now.
And that's one of Stella from TombRaiders.net. She talks about that. She says the Black Isle level in Chronicles, the Labyrinth, and also the Gallow Tree, which is where you met that gentleman.
Yes.
And the Old Mill. They're definitely among my favorites from the classic games. The level designs, enemies, and sound effects are gorgeously creepy, and the opportunity to play as young Lara with no weapons and only your wits and agility plus a few found objects makes you feel vulnerable at first, then completely badass as you banish a powerful demon without firing a shot. So there's something very quintessentially Tomb Raider about that, about using your
Yes.
brain
Yeah.
instead of bronze.
Yeah.
That's the
And
whole
also-
part of Lara's character, really, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Plus, when she's younger, you get to see that she really is determined, you know?
Yeah.
She's
And she
really,
doesn't listen to anybody.
yeah.
She's not interested in authority.
She's like, oh, I'm not supposed to go? Let me hide under this boat.
And so these little wisps, they'll guide you out of the labyrinth as you try to escape from the labyrinth's keeper, who doesn't enjoy the fact that you took the bestiary with you. You'll see him kind of jut out from the side. Run!
Yeah, and let's talk about the music, the scary.
Oh,
and
definitely.
then
Yeah.
you just know something's happening. I'd get so scared at
Yeah.
You
those
hear that, you just don't look back. You're like, just run.
Yeah, I
boy.
used to play these games with my dad because I honestly got so scared.
Yes, absolutely. So now we're on to Angel of Darkness. I have a lot of
Oh,
quotes I
God.
want to read from this one, so I'm going to start right away. So this is the Hall of Seasons in Paris for the Angel of Darkness. So it's underneath the Louvre. And Maxime of Tomb Croft says the Hall of Seasons remains to this day one of my favorites, mainly because it's a multifaceted level. It was utterly challenging for the player, and you had to adapt to different kinds of traps and environments in each sub-level. The way the whole thing was designed kept pushing you off balance, sometimes quite literally. Ash from Tomb of Ash says every level in the Angel of Darkness has its own incredible atmosphere. This Hall of Seasons manages to captivate my imagination every time I play. The variety of puzzles and locations make this one of the most interesting locations in the entire franchise. And J.R. Millward from Survival Reborn says the Hall of Seasons ticks all the basic boxes for traps and persistent gameplay, but it's the atmosphere that sets this tomb apart. It's like being inside a giant mechanical cathedral. I love the Gothic architecture and the echoing sense of scale in the main hall. It's by far one of the best areas in the whole game. Look at these. So there was like the 4 chambers and the different sort of elemental puzzles. And it really was so, it felt really ancient, and like was the only one that had been there in centuries. It was so great.
So
And-
whoever is playing this and is not dying deserves like a video game award or something.
Yes, that would be
because-
Clara again
I
of
don't
Captain
think
Elvin.
that exists.
Or maybe she just spliced them together. We'll never know,
Yeah.
but she's playing excellently right now. I definitely
Especially
died way too much in these levels.
Yeah, the part where you're jumping between the pillars and the air is trying to push you off those beams.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. That was one that was quite difficult. She's got biceps.
Yeah.
She's
Yeah, I
She's
loved how
extremely-
she
she's
looked in
extremely
this
agile.
game. I just loved how the look of Lara in this game.
And then this, the fight with Brother Obscura. Just
Oh,
crawl.
those were creepy.
Just crawl.
Those were so creepy.
I love that you get to shoot a ghost with guns.
I know. I think somebody actually mentioned this. Alex from Tomb Raider World and Alex's Tomb Raider blog said, I love the Hall of Seasons because it's the most challenging tomb in the Tomb Raider universe, full of variety and with a frantic final. The red ghost is terrifying.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree. I like how she's just going to escape by crawling
Yeah.
out of the premises.
You could beat
As
the
you
last
do,
boss
as
just
you do.
crawling too.
Yeah.
That's like as Tomb Raider fans, you learn
Yeah,
those
only
little,
we would know.
little tips
Little
and
tricks, yeah.
as you go. All right, we're making our way. We are up to Tomb Raider Legend now. This is one of my personal favorites.
Oh,
So this
yeah.
is the search for Excalibur. And ironically, Lara finds the real Excalibur under a King Arthur tourist trap, which I just thought was so clever and funny. But again, it's very atmospheric, and there's all these sorts of layers of history. So you have to find your way through the actual tourist
The
trap.
tourist attraction.
Yeah.
You have to like turn on the generators and get it back up and running, and then you realize that the actual crypt is underneath.
And that adds to there's treasures everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. It's fulfilling the fantasy that there's always more than what meets the eye with Tomb Raider, which
Professor
is
Worth some
great.
credit. If he had to
Her Ducati jacket.
I love this part, scaling down while everything's just breaking.
I know.
I used to get very panicked while doing this because when things are crumbling behind you, you just
This will take some
have to have the sense of urgency.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
Absolutely.
go wrong.
But that's also what I like. I like having to get out in a hurry.
So you like the panic feeling?
Yes.
It's adrenaline, I guess. Like, with Lara, go, go, go.
And then there was, of course, the great serpent fight in here,
Oh yeah.
which was very cool. It was sort of a
Will you
boss
look at
fight and a puzzle in one.
I think that's one of my favorite bosses.
Yeah, I agree. I like
Sure.
that one a lot.
I love at the end of the quick time event with the final boss, she just points her guns at it and she's just kind of staring at it and she's like, I could murder you
Oh,
right
the
now.
quotes are real
Just
in this
go."
game. Quotes are fantastic in
I
this
know.
game. I just love them.
She's got quite the sense of sarcasm in this game, which I
Definitely.
love. That dry humor, which is great.
Like she stares down a serpent. Only Lara Croft.
Yeah. That magnetic grapple was so helpful for everything. So many uses for that thing. Uh-oh.
Oh, are they gonna show it?
Yes, I'm so happy they're going to show it. The nostalgia is real.
Yeah, so this is what, the first encounter,
Yes.
right? And then you'd encounter it again later.
I think this is the last time.
Getting it out of order.
See, she's just staring it down.
Like-
She's like, think about it, bro. Do you really want to do this right now?
Do you know who I am? It's
Yeah.
kind of like that.
Look, it just goes down like,
It's
okay.
like, all right, I'll wait for easier prey.
That face though, she's like,
Oh,
that's what I thought.
yeah.
That's
You
the
made- you
Lara
made the
stare
right
down.
decision.
She's like, damn straight you did.
Tomb
Oh,
Raider
yeah.
Anniversary.
Oh.
So this was the type. So if there was going to be a second one from the original Tomb Raider, it would definitely be St. Francis Folly. But we felt the Lost Valley that first time that you see the
Yeah.
dinosaur
Yeah.
ticket. So I mean, obviously it's very much the same level design and approach in Tomb Raider Anniversary. Some things were changed and rearranged a bit, but generally, what I loved about this was the verticality. It's such a tall tomb. There's so many opportunities for you to fall to your death in this level. But it's fantastic that the different finding the different keys to unlock each of the doors, and then the different sets of puzzles.
Yeah, it's like one giant puzzle room, and you just go down, unlocking all the puzzles.
Yeah, I love the Atlas one where you have to avoid
Run
the
away
giant
from
rolling
the ball, the
Yep.
globe.
Yeah. So we have a quote from Tomb Raider Universe, the webmasters at TombRaiderUniverse.com, and they said, "We love the tomb for its huge size and its variety of puzzles. All of the puzzles are organized around the same central puzzle. The tomb combines reflection, exploration, and traversal. In addition to having to rack your brains to get every key, the way to the different rooms is complicated and full of hazards and deadly traps." He says, how many times did Lara die here? Probably a lot. For almost everyone, I would assume.
Yeah. I just plunged to my death too often.
Yeah. And everything's centered on this Greek mythology, which is very cool. This room is
This
rough.
room was, yeah.
Because on the way out, you've got the swords from below, and then you've got the giant ones from above. So you have to watch death from above.
Yeah. Every time I grab the key there, I just swan dive off just to make it look more dramatic.
It's the best way to do it.
There you go. They're loading up.
I just rem-
Someone described this as the terror room,
Oh yeah.
the Damocles room.
I
The
remember
terror
in
room.
the first Tomb Raider, like you have to do the same thing. Like in this one, you have to walk slowly so
Yeah.
they don't hit you.
You trigger them, and then you
Yeah.
just see the shadow, and you wait, and you wait.
I
Wow,
like
they've done
this
this
walking
pretty well.
pose a lot too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Creeping.
Yeah, her movement's really great in this game.
Yeah, there was a lot of attention paid to animation. It's just really natural.
Even the hair.
Mm-hmm.
You notice in every Tomb Raider game, the hair progressed each time.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. Well, hair is important in a Tomb Raider game. All right, so now we have southern Mexico in Tomb Raider Underworld. And this is the area that had the Mayan calendar, the puzzle for the Unnamed Days chapter. And so she did a lot of navigating between different sites to solve this one puzzle on her motorcycle. And I love that usually you think of the jungle and it's like bright and sunny. I love that it was so, rainy and kind of oppressive.
Yeah, me too. Like it was dark. And it's dark for a right reason because of what just happened in the story. I mean, I know it's an old game, but I won't spoil it. But
Yeah.
it does set the mood for it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think the whole tone of the game was dark anyway, so it kind of needed that.
Yeah. But I remember feeling the first time I saw this how beautiful it was. So the lush greenery and the rain and...
I'm going to go home and play this. That's
I
exactly
haven't
what
played this in some years.
And this is so epic, right? So you work so hard to get to the tomb, and then you get this incredible reveal. So it's an obscured staircase, and then giant statues, and then there's fire, and then it's like it's such a great payoff for that moment.
There was a lot to do for this.
But it rewarded you, right?
Oh, yeah,
like
definitely.
you feel like I earned this, and it's so.
And me loving the panic, I was like,
Yeah.
get on that motorcycle,
Yeah.
speed down.
And it's so cool to see how all of these different underworlds from mythology started tying together in these spaces.
Midgard's
They
hope do
scared me.
the-
They were intense.
I hope they do the headshot. Where
There
she
you go.
backflips off of them.
Those were fun. She had a lot of awesome movements. This was the first game Tomb Raider game that had the motion capture
And it was done
by
by
Heidi Moneymaker. She does a lot of stuff for Marvel and Black Widow, I think, right now.
Oh,
so
really?
she does a lot of very big stunt work now for
wow.
big movies. She's super talented.
I thought Black Widow had some similar movements.
Getting the belt. Awesome accessories.
I love just like how she gets I'm gonna spoil this one because it's so cool. How she gets Thor's hammer.
Yeah. It's
Because
a
of all
pretty
those.
fantastic weapon to wield. There's
Right.
definitely a power fantasy there when you get to the end and you wield it. All right, now we're on to Tomb Raider. So these two videos, Captain Elvin did not take. So they're probably, we grabbed them from our own archives. I think she clipped together a bunch of stuff, but this is just one continuous clip here. So essentially on Yamatai, like the entire island was kind of a tomb. People had been stranded there for centuries.
Yeah.
And it had these layers of history from World War II and then ancient, Japan and even more recently. And so this was one of the first moments where Lara actually discovers the central tomb in the game in this chasm monastery. And you can see she's starting to understand what's happening, right? And really,
Right.
really dead.
And I just love Camilla's acting.
Yeah, she's
She's
fantastic.
incredible. I love she puts that wonder into it, you know.
And so this is where she discovers Himiko's tomb. She's looking at the mural. She's starting to understand what's happening. And then later on, and just after the segment, after a little bit of combat, she goes into this area where she does a wind puzzle that people really loved, basically turning a bell into a wrecking ball.
That
And
took me a long time to figure that out, actually.
it was one of those ones that it once you got it, it seemed very simple.
Yeah, I
But
started
it
beating
was
myself up over
realizing
that,
that the world on Yamatai and in the game actually reacted the way that in real world it would.
Yeah.
So that was something that I think was really fun when people realized that they could harness the power of the wind and so on, other physics elements in these puzzles.
Yeah. And you really do see Lara's love for mythology and tombs here.
You can hear her working it out. And
Because she's hurt badly. She just saw something very unnerving, and she's still trying to figure out what's going on this
And
island.
she gets hurt pretty badly in this game.
yeah, she goes through quite an
Too
ordeal.
much, yeah.
But she comes out on the other side stronger. She's definitely a survivor.
Yeah.
Okay, and then on to Rise of the Tomb Raider.
Okay.
So this is the Flooded Archives,
Flooded
which is one of the tombs that fans said that they most enjoyed in the geothermal valley. We wanted to keep it spoiler free, so we'll go for that. But this is a really cool traversal space. It's huge. You can actually get lost in it. There's tons of things to find.
Yes. I remember I played through my first time, and then I played through my second time, and I found things that I did not see in my first time.
Yep. And the atmosphere is just so great. So it is an archive, so it has all these scrolls and ancient texts, and the architecture is just so cool. And it's nested puzzles, so it's got 3 smaller puzzles that you solve for one larger puzzle. Yeah, but it was just a really wonderful place to run around. And we have a quote from Marco from All Game Tomb Raider, and he says, "One of the reasons that I really like the flooded archives and Rise of the Tomb Raider is because of the moment in the story which you reach this area, which we won't spoil." But he says, besides the clever puzzle related to the Greek fire vessels, I love the scene where she's escaping and how everything comes together.
More Greek fire vessels.
So having to use Laura's various gear and figure out how to solve these puzzles and move these Greek fire vases to a place where they're of use to her was really fun.
Yeah, you definitely had to utilize the equipment here.
Absolutely.
She had so much more equipment in this game.
Yep. There was a lot of different upgrades and equipment. I know that was a focus of the team to empower her more through her tools and make her more...
I love the grapple axe.
Yes. It's super fun. And the glow stick just makes everything so much more...
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
ambience is just so strong when it's lighting up
Yeah.
these warm colors in this ancient abandoned space. I think this is our last tomb. Holy cow, we went through 20 years of tombs in just a few minutes. So I just want to say thank you to everybody for tuning in. If you are interested in keeping up with our Tomb Raider 20 activities, you can follow the hashtag Tomb Raider 20. You can also go to tombRaider.tumblr.com, and on there we have a Tomb Raider 20 page, so we're actually updating as we announce different activities. We've announced a book. We've announced a concert of classic Tomb Raider music. We're going to keep making fun announcements for the community and fans throughout the year, and we hope you are enjoying that. And thank you for tuning in. Share your favorite tombs with us on Twitter or throughout social media using the hashtag. And thank you both so much for joining us
Thank
today.
you for having
Thank
me.
you.
Thank you.